Okay, today we're going to get started with Gravit. Here we go. I'm going to go ahead and click the Get Started button. And you do not need to install it. You're just going to use it on the internet. All right, I'm going to create a new design. And you can click Print or Paper Size and US Letter Landscape. All right, here is our workspace for Gravit. The center is going to be your artwork. Over on the right, you have your layers palette and your page. Now keep in mind your page is your artboard and you only need one. Over on the right-hand side, you're going to see your color fill, and you'll be able to click that and choose different fills for your artwork and objects. Below that is your paper size and your document and your color mode. You can just leave those at RGB and 300 and unit inches. Okay, from here, we're going to go ahead and start looking at the shape tools and creating an abstract shape composition. First off, your tools are up on the top submenu. And there's your black selection area tool called the pointer tool. And here are your shape tools. So the first thing I'm going to do is get my rectangle tool. And I'm going to go to the fills and choose a color. And this is going to be my background object. So I'm going to go ahead and choose maybe a light pale blue. All right, get that rectangle tool. And I'm going to click and drag out a rectangle the size of my entire document. Okay, there it is. All right, now I don't want to accidentally keep clicking on this. So I'm going to go ahead and on the layers, I've got a rectangle here. And if you hover on it, the little lock and the eyeball pops up. So I'm going to click lock so that I've now locked this layer and this background. I'm going to go ahead and make a new layer right there. Here it is, create new layer. All right, and now on this new layer is where I'll draw the rest of my shapes. All right, I'm going to drop down my shape tools again. How about I'll grab the Polygon tool and I'll go ahead and draw a polygon, but it's going to be the same white as the default. All right, and I've got my black arrow, and I can move it around. I can resize it. I can hover in the corner and rotate. All right, and I can also go back to my fills right here, click on that, and change its color. Okay, I can also give it a stroke, which is the outline, and in Gravit, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select it with the black arrow, and notice the appearance and the fill pops up when it's selected. So it's not there right now. I deselect it. But I'm going to go back here and select, and now it's there over here on the side, the appearance and the fills. All right, in Illustrator, it's called the stroke outline, but in Gravit, it's called borders. And I can drop that down and choose a border color. All right, so I clicked that plus sign to see my borders menu. And right now the border or the stroke is black. It's only 1 pixel. I can increase the pixels. How about to 5? And now you can see it. All right, so I can click away to deselect, and I can go get other shapes like my triangle or my star. All right, and notice it always defaults back to a white fill, or in this case, sort of a gray fill, and a black border. So I'll go back to the fill and choose a color. I'm going to stay in this kind of analogous blue color scheme. Okay, and I can go to the borders, plus sign, open that up, and I can choose, still have a black border if I want. How about increase the weight to 3? All right, I can also play around while this is selected. I can play around with things like opacity. So how about I wanted to make that star see-through? So I'm going to reduce the opacity. And while you're selected here, you can also play around with things like the corners. Right now, the corners are angled. And so if I increase the corner, you can see how I am making it rounded. All right, let's say I want to duplicate this star. I'm going to click to select it and hold down Option or Alt, and you can duplicate it. All right, so from here, I've just selected it with the black arrow, and I can still select any object I've drawn and move them around or resize. All right, so that's some of my shape tools. I gave them borders. I changed their opacity. If you drop down the black arrow, you can also see your other tools like the white arrow, the sub-select. And let's say I wanted to adjust this polygon. So I'm going to click away to deselect and then grab those red anchor points. And you can see I kind of altered the shape of the polygon using my white sub-select arrow. All right, next I'm going to play around with some more tools. Let's see if we've got pen tools, which we'll take a look at later. And next we have things like your libraries. There are different libraries of shapes. There's illustrations, which you can use on your own, but not in our class. There's things like lines, which you might want to use. So these are kind of interesting. But remember, these are all preset artworks done by another artist. Okay, so if you do use some, make sure they're very general and they're not they're not actual illustrations that you are using as your own. All right, next we do have some line tools, like here's the create line. So I'll choose that, and you're just going to click and drag out and release, and I've created a line. I can go down here to the borders and increase or decrease that line. So here it is at 6. I'm going to go ahead and click on the color and change the color of the line. Okay, and then I can go get my sub-select, and I can even click on that line and edit the line. All right, I think I'm going to get my black arrow and just duplicate the line. Hold down Option or Alt. And I'm just going to create a little pattern with those lines. All right, and from here, I think I'll drag a little selection that touches all of them and make them bigger, maybe extend them off the page. Okay, so far I have a little bit going on with my shapes, my opacities, duplicating shapes, changing the fill and border color, adding some lines, and next time we will experiment with some more tools.